Hello everybody, my name is Tobias Döring, or you can also call me Tobias Döring, which is the English version of my name. I'm from Germany, from Munich. I teach at the University of Munich and I teach English literature. So the classes that I offer here at VIU this spring term are also about English literature or Anglophone literature, because some English writing is done also outside England. And the class I'm talking about right now is entitled Shipwrecks. Shipwrecks, Uses of Catastrophe from the Tempest to the Titanic. That's the title of my class, and let me just tell you in a few words what my idea is and what this involves. Now, first of all, shipwrecks of course are always very terrible catastrophes. Something that involves the loss of lives, many humans get drowned, greatly tragic events. They happen all the time, and they happened since a very long time. Ever since people went out to the sea, shipwrecks did take place. But in the context of this class, we're not looking at the tragedy so much than at the cultural uses that have been made of them. Now you may well wonder, why should a shipwreck be useful? Well, the answer to that is, each time a shipwreck gets represented, for example in media coverage, in any kind of report or any kind of narrative, in stories, in pictures, in paintings, or indeed in films, each time a shipwreck gets represented, it also is interpreted in particular ways. People try to describe what happened, but they also try and describe some kind of reason why it happened. They give some kind of acknowledgement of the causes, they speculate on guilt, on blame, on responsibility. So whenever shipwrecks are represented in cultural media, we try and make sense of them as best we can. This happens with some of the very famous shipwrecks in history. For example, the sinking of the Titanic. It's an event that many of you will have heard about. It happened almost 100 years ago, in 1912 to be exact. On the way from England to New York, the biggest ship that was ever built by mankind sunk in the northern Atlantic. This was a dreadful event. Thousands of people got drowned. But even at the time, at the very moment it happened, many people felt, well, maybe this tragic catastrophe is also a kind of punishment. A punishment for human mistakes, or for ways in which humans have thought themselves more powerful than nature. So many people at the time already began to reflect upon the way in which this shipwreck could be interpreted. The Titanic is one example, therefore, that we're going to study. We're also going to study some novels, shipwrecks that are described in novels. And I'll just mention the novels to you in case you've heard about them. One novel that's very famous is called Robinson Crusoe by the English writer Daniel Defoe. Then there is a couple of contemporary novels. One is called A History of the World in 10.5 chapters, and the other is called Life of Pi. Plus we'll be looking at a Shakespearean play that was written around 1600 and that shows a shipwreck already in its first scene. That play is called The Tempest. And with each of these materials, that is the play, the novels and the films, etc. of the Titanic, we'll always be asking, what kind of meaning is it that people can make out of these events? What sense, if any, do they derive from it? Who is blamed for the shipwreck? Who is held responsible? And what does this tell us about the ways in which humans relate to nature, in which man-made society, man-made technology, and man-made culture, that is the ships, in which they relate to the forces of elemental destruction? Thanks very much.